Well, how are you?
They got them Rick James knee-high boots on.
You know what?
You look wonderful, man. Listen, if this is your first time tuning in to the Voice of Reason, the VOR radio, let me tell you what we do. So there's the VOR as a station, Voice of Reason Radio. Dash Radio saw fit to give me my own channel, and this channel represents consciousness, high consciousness, a lot of information, a lot of comedy, a lot of satire, so to speak, but also political, spiritual, mental, emotional, psychological conversations that all kind of revolve around relationships. You dig? Now, this show, we normally have a whole world of women in here. But Peaches, I guess, was doing something with her management, so she had to be there. So we have Sarah, without the H. I had to mention her first because she's off camera, but she's on mic. Say what's up, Sarah.
Hello.
Hello, let me say hello as I'm turning on the mic.
Turn on the mic.
Sarah's sick, by the way, too, so I've quarantined her ass.
Okay.
Stay over there. We got her all types of medicines and whatnot,
Oh, so she's ready.
and she's ready. But we also have in the building, fan favorite, everybody loves her. Not that Sarah without the H isn't a fan favorite, but there's a delicious little
Oh my God.
living Popeye's chicken. She's like a real life Popeye chicken. This is a real beautiful, intelligent, smart, just outgoing, business-minded woman. For all those who don't know, for everybody who's just getting hip to the game. Without further ado, Mimi, dude.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
I couldn't believe
Yes.
she walked in here today. I said, what, we got Mimi? Excellent. We're going to be able to pull this motherfucker off. Now, look, sometimes the topics get deep, sometimes they get heavy. When we're at, pardon my little thing here, when we're at Dash, the phone lines be cracking for these shows.
Right.
But because they don't really have phone lines here, I think they do. It's like a Skype situation or something weird.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. We don't really have phone lines here. But what we do have is the chat room. So when I jump into the chat, if you guys have questions, if you have opinions or perspectives about what we're talking about, please don't hesitate. Yeah, go out there and tell them niggas I said. Don't you hate it when you're doing a live show and then there's a gang of people outside the door right when you're doing it?
Right. Loud. Having a great
I
time.
mean, I guess some of this stuff is true about black people. If you behave like this, how's somebody gonna get you a job?
Right. Right.
You know, we do break rules on the job.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, y'all gonna make me jump into another topic. Let me not do that. As is commonplace for the Voice of Reason, what we like to do before every show is to promote a little bit. You guys gotta get my mansions gear. I've been telling y'all, we only have a few pieces of that left, but I just showed Mimi some of our new designs. The new designs are gonna be lit. I can't wait to, hand them over to Power One Clothing. But we still have some of the old designs left. Please.
Uh-oh.
What's wrong with Sarah? Please go to poweroneclothing.com and purchase the Mansions gear. Please do that. Please support the brand. Also, don't forget to get the holographic relationship, how to stick the landing when exiting a toxic relationship. Wait a minute, I blended two books together. It's the relationship dismount. How to stick the landing when exiting a toxic relationship. That's my 2015 release. It's available all on Amazon. All right? Paperback, Kindle, Audible. The Relationship Dismount, How to Stick the Landing When Exiting a Toxic Relationship. Amazon.com. My 2019 release. My 2019 release is The Holographic Relationship. That's available in paperback from my website, IamZoWilliams.com, or Kindle at Amazon.com. Now, pull up the hurricane report.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Wow, okay.
So again, the
It's
hurricane
coming up.
report.
I'm trying to.
She hasn't found it yet, but when you find it, just let me know. Yes, the hurricane. Somebody is in here spamming me on my chat room. There it is, the hurricane report. There it is right there. Can you pull up her website information? This is a news source. I really love this place because I go there and get a lot of my news sources from the hurricane report. You can follow them on Instagram, Twitter. She done lost everything. Just look, she's confused. She's lost. She's hot.
I am.
You know, just pull it up. The hurricane report.
She's
Write
on
it,
medication.
Take action.
Thank you.
Maintain freedom. Hurricane report. Right. That's /H-report.news. Instagram H_report. REEEPOORT. Follow them, support them, big time news coming out of there. Listen, Terius Delier. You got my attention, brother. You done put this in here 7,500 times. Zo, I need your help with the youth in New Orleans. You got to email me. All right? So, although I don't like the method that you used, I guess you did what you had to do to get my attention.
Absolutely.
I've seen this 300 times in here, so brother, email me. VOR106@gmail.com. Now, I better not see this message in here again.
Another message needs to be found.
No, because we're about to talk about some real stuff today, and I want y'all to really, really get involved into this, because this is not gonna, this is gonna be different here.
Okay.
All right, this is important that we have these kinds of conversations, because sometimes we simply don't. Hey, fine ass meaning.
Hey, how y'all doing?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening on Dash Radio, let me just paint the picture for you. We are broadcasting live through my YouTube channel. And my YouTube channel, we have 56,000 subscribers, nearly 12 million views. People are checking us out big time. If you want to see what we look like, just go to my YouTube channel. It's all one word, no spaces in between the words. TheZoWhatShow. All right? Let's get to this topic.
Let's do it.
Because, especially during this time of year, this really hurts my heart. A lot of people who are miserable, who are sad, who are lonely, who are depressed, who are destitute emotionally, psychologically, as well as physically, get taken advantage of by a certain group of people.
Okay, do tell.
I'm trying to tell you, this ain't a holiday, topic. Because these people take advantage of the aforementioned people every day of the year, 365 days a year. Tonight's topics are happiness pushers worse than prosperity preachers? A deeper look into the happy people industry. Come on, it's another day. Stand up, fight for it. Happiness pushers. We about to get deep.
Let's do it.
Are happiness pushers worse than prosperity preachers? If you can find the issue with a prosperity preacher, can you find the issue with a happiness pusher? That's a happiness pusher and a prosperity preacher.
Twofer.
2 for 1.
He's a twofer. Do you understand? First off, understand there's a usefulness. Well, let me read the questions. Let's go into the questions. Is social media making the world unhappy?
True. I believe they are.
Okay.
It is, yes.
Can happiness be taught?
No. It comes from within.
You can't answer all the questions.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
She ain't been here in a while. You know, it's not like we had Dash. Hold on. Well, you know what? Because I'm going to tell you. Then I'm going to throw it to you, baby.
I'm sorry.
Is it possible to be happy without inner work that leads to self-acceptance? I hope you listening, Sarah.
Yeah.
She's not listening.
I am listening.
No, you're not. This is a heavy question. Please listen. Are happiness pushers inadvertently pushing pain as well as so-called happiness? Are they pushing unhappiness as well as so-called happiness? Peter Popoff was pushing healing in the magic water bottle. My mother had that magic water, that miracle water from Peter Popoff. She had that miracle water now. Are happiness pushers inadvertently pushing unhappiness as well as happiness? True or false? Expecting to be consistently happy is harmful. Are you listening? She's not listening. She over there.
I'm listening.
What was my last question?
You said, is it possible?
True or false? Expecting to be consistently happy is harmful. True or false? Stress is your default setting until you make an internal change. Are you supposed to be happy all the time? I'm trying to tell you there are happiness pushers out there just like there are prosperity pushers. And a lot of times people don't know how to make the distinction between the two. Mimi,
Yes,
do you have a clear understanding of what I'm talking about today?
I do.
How many people you know that hide behind the mask?
A lot of people hide behind the mask.
Like they're happy, like they're fulfilled,
Right.
like they're content. Talk to me about that.
I mean, we see it every day on social media. The person's smiling, they're having the best party, best event, and really they just gathered together, took a picture there, everyone's smiling, but they're really not having the type of fun that they're putting in the post. And a lot of times things that people say that are making them so happy, they're putting on a show for the likes, for people to look at them in a certain light. It makes them feel good. Oh yeah, I got 800 likes today, or 2 likes, whatever the numbers are, but that fulfills them. So they take frivolous pictures, checking in the places they're not even at, having a great time.
Checking into places they're not even at. Sarah, your thoughts? Bring your sick ass into this conversation.
I'm here. Hey. What? No, it happens all the time. I see when I go out to different places that, you know, there'll be 4 girls sitting at the table. All of them are on their phones. They're taking pictures of each other, not interacting, but their social media posts be, having the best time of my life, wish you were here, but y'all not even enjoying the people that is in your presence because you're too busy trying to make everybody else think that you're having fun where you are.
That is amazing. Now, I get it on a different level. I get it on a mental and spiritual level. I'm saying this is what happens to me.
Right.
it's not easy to be around me, especially in an intimate environment. Why? Because I'm going to observe you differently than anyone has ever observed you before.
Okay.
So what happens is, a lot of times people get uncomfortable. And it's the exact same situation that Sarah just broke down. You at the event, but you at the table on your phone, right? Posting that you're having the most amazing time in the world, but really, you're not. So this is how it happens to me on the spiritual side. And I'm sure it happens to other people like this too. I'm sure I'm not the only one who has experienced this before. But what happens with me is, because for a lot of people there is no original thought, I tend to help the people I'm with articulate their feelings. Because before, they never had the ability, a lot of them never had the ability to articulate and frame up just what it is that they want to express. So what happens is, once the situation falls apart, and I'm saying this happens to me a lot, once the situation falls apart, that person leaves with a lexicon of how to express their emotions, their thoughts. And a lot of times I'll run into their friends or their family members, and you'll say, they'll be like, well, the motherfucker sound just like you. So they left with the words, but not the experience it took to gain the understanding that gave me the words.
Right.
So they get to hide behind the mask of sounding like they know what's happening when they haven't done the inner work. Post a picture on social media. Social media is big in this. Post a picture on social media talking about the love of all black people and forgiveness, and ain't did no forgiveness work.
Right. Mm-hmm.
See, for me, that's the struggle. If you really want to be happy, we have to first define what that is to you. Mimi, what is your definition?
Of what, being happy? Or definition?
Your definition of happiness.
You know what? I think my definition is peace from within. I think that I feel like...
I like that, peace from within. That's heavy enough.
Yeah.
But keep going.
Yeah, peace from within. You know, I have my own happiness. Nobody can tell you what your happiness look like. So for me, you know, even spending time with myself, learning, growing, I know that sounds odd, but I'm happy with that. Because some people aren't happy even being alone. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we like money and things like that, but who you are from within, that's where it starts from. It's not the other things. It's the peace from within, the happiness.
Peace from within. Sarah!
Yes.
What's your definition of happiness?
Definition of happiness is just being just aware. Like when I'm aware and conscious of what's going on in my life and
like
living
that.
in the now, I feel alive.
Right.
like
So
that.
happiness is life.
And the source of unhappiness is what?
Is the removal of yourself from everything that matters to me.
This is heavy, what she's saying. The removal of yourself from everything that matters. That's what you said.
Yes.
For most people, they don't even have a definition of what the self is. Themselves.
Right.
Who I am hasn't even been discovered yet. And it doesn't, it's not a respecter of age. Doesn't matter how old you are. There are a lot of people who haven't discovered themselves.
True.
So what happens is the external movement becomes the movement that produces superficial happiness. Long as I'm doing something, as long as I'm being paid attention to, as long as I'm being stimulated, right? This is a theme we go through on this particular show. Then you have a group of people out there who know these people just need a good word, even if the word isn't substantive. Now even if the word isn't substantive.
Well, they call that itchy ears. You know.
Talk to me. What that mean?
Well, itchy. My mom, growing up in church, that's what they call people that like always looking for prophetic words. What the Lord's saying to me, and it's just so they can get some type of encouragement or warning or whatever it is. No matter what it is, if it's true or not, they just want to know that God talking about them. And so, I mean, a lot of people.
So you know your brain produces all types of hormones and chemicals and all types of stuff, right? And a lot of those hormones and chemicals act and operate on your brain in much the same way as drugs.
True.
Dopamine, serotonin, you even got DMT in your brain. When you sleep, right? When you go to sleep and you start to dream, that's DMT dripping. And when that drip stops, you wake up abruptly. That's DMT. You understand? Now, understand. Happiness, like drugs, has a euphoric effect on you, right? Scientific evidence suggests that being happy may have major benefits for your health. For starters, being happy promotes a healthy lifestyle. It may also help combat stress, boost your immune system, protect your heart, and reduce pain. What's more, it may even increase life expectancy. But can you produce that within your being without an external stimulant? See, somebody sold you a bill of goods that ain't good. See, they don't want you to be the governor and the god of self that can self-sustain. No, they want you to be attached. Now, if you know anything about Buddha and his teachings, he said one of the first principles he delivered was attachment is the way to suffering. You want to end suffering? You got to end attachment. How many of you motherfuckers attached to the nightclub? Attached to toxic people? Attached to the lies you tell yourself? Attached to the mask you wear to look like you happy, to look like you all good, but in reality, you know you're a liar and you go to sleep with that truth every day. And when I say a liar, I'm not talking to people. I'm not saying lying to other people. I'm talking about the shit you lie to yourself about that you have to go to sleep with every night. Telling yourself, I'm all right. You're not okay. Why is it important that we cover this topic, Mimi?
I think it's important for accountability. I think when you become accountable for yourself and you say, you know what, I need to look at me and who I am. Because if you don't realize the problems, then you'll never see what the blessings are or where the happiness lies. So I think that when people know what they want and what they don't want, that's from life, right? Then they know themselves and then they become happy from within because they love themselves. You got to know you. You got to love you.
But Mimi and Sarah, I need y'all to create the demarcation between loving oneself and being narcissistic.
You know what? I'm not saying to be, conceited or think you must know it all because you love yourself or now you run the world because you love yourself. Loving oneself means that, hey, you know who you are, your good parts, your bad parts. Because you is an entire being. You can't just love what's good. Oh yeah, I'm a good skater, I love that about me. No, you gotta love every part of you. You know why? That's how the change comes. You can never change if you never accept what you are and who you are. Accepting who you are is important.
Mimi out here doing it right now. The only thing I disagree with
What?
is the change part, and it's semantics. She's 100% right. I don't disagree in that way. I just make a distinction between the word change and transform.
Well, transform is a better choice of words.
Yes, because you can change anything.
Yes.
You change masks.
Right.
Yeah.
You be deep one morning and,
Right.
and then blithering idiot the next minute. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I agree.
So people change all the time because superficial change brings forth stimulation.
True.
If I'm being stimulated, I feel like I'm alive. But if you can't provide meaning to yourself. They say, well, how in the hell are you supposed to do that? Relationship's supposed to bring meaning to me. No, relationship's supposed to bring revelation. And revelation ain't always comfortable. How did I get this bum-ass nigga? Because the bum in him is attracted to the bum in you.
Right.
The bum in him is your inner bum soulmate. I know you don't want to hear this. You listen. When's the last time you just met a happy person?
No.
I mean, just woohoo! Hold it the vocal shot. Hallelujah. Most people that are over the top like that are compensating for something.
Right.
I like that. Okay, I'm not compensating.
And please understand, I'm not speaking in absolutes. There are some genuinely happy people out there, but it's rare. Please, okay, so let's do it this way. We understand that self-realization is rare. It's not impossible, it's rare. You're not going to walk to the, what's this coffee shop down here? This Starbucks right here on La Cienega.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just going to show up to La Cienega in Centinela and find 12 enlightened motherfuckers.
No.
So that's rare. Unconditional love is not found in every household in America.
True.
So that's rare. Let's go a little lighter. Tell me, Mimi, how many people you know got true friends?
Not that many. Ooh. Not that many.
Ooh.
Not that
Houdini
many.
wasn't lying, friends.
Yeah. Okay. How many of us have them?
How many people you know are a true friend without wanting anything?
Right.
I don't want anything from you.
That's very rare.
I'm going to support you. I'm going to back you. I'm going to ride with you. Even when you're wrong, I'm going to call you out. But regardless of what happens, I'm your friend.
That's very rare, you know?
So friendship is rare.
Friendship is rare.
So the revelation of self is rare. The revelation of God is rare, which is one and the same. The revelation of unconditional love is rare. And now the revelation of true friendship
is very rare.
Very rare.
Yes, all of it.
So look at the rarity. Where's the happiness coming from if all those four are rare?
From within.
But for most people, it's not coming from within.
That's where it should come.
From most people, there is a groping, a yearning. Pay attention to me, acknowledge me, pour into me what wasn't poured into me in my living environment that I modeled as a child. So we'll go out into the world and now I'm groping, right? Mm-hmm. You look at a lot of your clinicians, psychiatrists, therapists, a lot of them have been abused. But they go into this field with a white knight syndrome as the motivating factor. I want to help other people to not experience what I experience. A lot of your clinicians are like this.
True.
So they extrapolate happiness from their work. And if they couldn't go help people, they would feel like that same person that was abused by somebody else. So helping others is really not about helping them for help's sake. It's about helping them for their own sake, their sense of self. Do the research, you'll see it. A lot of clinicians, a lot of therapists. First off, you got to go through 5,000 hours of your own therapy. You have to be, in therapy. But a lot of them are, the impetus of their work is to help others so they can feel good about themselves. So is that an authentic way to extrapolate happiness? Mm-mm. See, a lot of people don't understand. This is why your relationships are so difficult. Because you thought your relationships were this happy garden Well, you and this person get together, we gonna plant seeds and no, the spirit universe said relationship is a highly reflective classroom where the two people reflect each other's triggers. Because if you don't care about this person, your trigger is not triggered in the same way.
True.
You see? Highly reflective classroom where the feedback you get from your partner is your curriculum. Now, we've already talked about this before. At the end of the day, you seeing yourself in him and he seeing himself through you, y'all gonna still grow at two different rates, even though y'all in the relationship together. Your lesson is different than his lesson. His lesson is different than yours, although it's coming from the same source. You're not happy because you spend most of your time rejecting the lesson. Well, let me just end this relationship because this isn't what I signed up for. Can the pursuit of happiness be as addictive as cocaine and have similar side effects?
True. Yes.
How many of you pursued happiness in the form of drugs, in the form of relationships, in the form of alcohol, in the form of accomplishment, and got to a point where you was like, shit.
True.
So was that happiness?
No.
See, because black people have been maligned economically, Jim Crow laws, slavery, the knowledge of self being stripped, we've been maligned. So a lot of times we don't understand when we see a white man at the top of the world worth $140 billion. We're talking about Bezos. Worth 140 billion. A billion is 1,000 millions. He's worth 140 billion. Something like ignorant, something stupid. What? Wait, how much is Bezos worth? Is it 90 billion? The point is still the same, right? And that point is
109.7.
$109.7 billion.
Wow.
So he's at a point where his relationship to money is like,
Right. It's whatever.
you want an island? Mimi.
Yes.
Just
Right.
for us, we struggle so hard to get to it that it becomes an addictive movement. The pursuit of happiness. Go watch that movie with Will Smith and see what he had to do to just feel human, to get a gig. The whole movie was about getting a gig. Listen to me now. The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith, one of my favorite films. The whole damn movie was about him getting a job. Now, of course, he had his baby with him, right? He had his little boy with him. He had to figure it out. And it was about overcoming poverty, struggle. But once he got that job, he felt vindicated, right?
True.
Did the job vindicate him, or did his inner resolve do that? See, for many of us, we don't find the vindication from the inner resolve. We find the vindication from, it finally happened. I got what I wanted. Do you see? I'm trying to tell y'all, if you don't stop playing with relationships, you're going to wind up very disappointed. And I'm saying this to brothers and sisters. Interracial dating is on the rise for a lot of brothers and sisters because it's a way to escape generational poverty. See, generational poverty is real amongst black people. You got motherfuckers out here running around talking about black people spend $1 trillion a year, $2 trillion. Listen, they don't even mention how many trillions white people spend. They don't mention it. There's a reason why they don't mention that. Because your little 1 trillion ain't really nothing.
Right.
And it's not like it's a unified 1 trillion, it's a fragmented 1 trillion. Right? Top 1% of black people in America worth 300,000 liquid. Top 1% of black America, you need 305,000 to get into the top 1%. Liquid. In other words, my house, my cars, everything else, and I have 300,000 in cash. That's top 1% of black America. 300,000. You can't stunt on Michael Bezos.
Right. Right.
Like, Bezos, what up, Nick?
He laughs at that. Yeah.
Get your goofy ass on out.
Yeah, he laughs at that.
So my favorite philosopher, and I put a lot of people onto this guy because he's inspired me, Krishnamurti. He says, can outside agency help you to get rid of your own misery? Whether that outside agency be God, a master, a drug, or a savior. Let's read it again. Because that's hot monkey. Can an outside agency help you to get rid of your own misery? Whether that outside agency be God, a master, a drug, or a savior? Or can one have the intelligence to understand the nature of unhappiness and deal with it immediately? Can you understand the nature of why you're unhappy? See, most people do not seek to understand the nature of unhappiness. They seek to resolve it. Unhappiness manifests as a type of pain. So I want this to stop. So most people are not in and listen, when I say being in a relationship that is painful, I'm not talking about getting beat up. I'm not talking about physical abuse. I'm talking about being in a relationship that challenges the boundaries and the borders of who you said you were. Does that make sense? A lot of people are exceedingly stubborn when he don't think the way I think. He not behaving the way I want him to behave. He's not performing in the way that I want him to perform. Society said he was supposed to do this. And listen, I always say this, whenever I see unidirectional blame, I know I'm dealing with a child. Blame has to be bidirectional, right? Because whatever happens in that relationship is a byproduct of co-creation. So you can't then turn around and say, oh, this guy makes me unhappy. Well, no, you were unhappy to begin with. No, this guy is just the clearest mirror of your unhappiness and has reflected it back to you. So what you going to do? Take the words he speaks or take the words she speaks? Because a lot of men have a very difficult time listening to women who have sound spiritual advice in a relationship. It got to be their grandmama, their big mama, somebody to tell them. But they woman, because society has conditioned men to think your woman is not a source for answers about you. Yes, she is. If she's in tune, if she's aware enough, yes, the fuck she is.
True. True.
But do you understand? But a lot of men out there, what? Listen here now. I want you to sit down. Pay attention, I'm going to lead us in it. But brother, don't lead us over there. We're going to be in a fuck bag, I'm telling you.
Right.
A lot of men in this society are impatient with a woman's mouth. Believe me, I was one of them. And on Thursdays, I still am. Impatient. A lot of men have been socialized. Don't listen to her. A lot of men who watch this show, we put this show together, we said, man, this is about a woman's voice. We're going to let women speak too. We're going to let them have their say. I had a brother who called me. So I've been listening to the Voice of Reason, man. I've been watching all the old shows, man. Damn your patience. You just be letting them talk? Mimi, have you ever experienced a man that had a problem with your insight?
Absolutely.
Talk to me about it.
I've had that happen to me numerous of times. Some men don't like to see women telling them anything, even if it's in a business, even if it's in a relationship. They have a thing in their mind that a woman can't tell them anything. And as a matter of fact, it's a very strong spirit. The men that really feel that way, you actually see it reeking out of them because they can't help it. They seriously feel like a woman has to stay in her place. And I've experienced that. And
what is a woman's place?
maybe go make a little food, meet me in the bedroom, a little fellatio, shut up. Yeah. That is her place. That's her place. That's her place, you feel me? That's definitely.
It's a piece of the place.
And I like that part of the place. That's a good part of the place we talking about. I was just giving an overview of what her place looks like. But I think that when it comes to thoughts and ideas,
keep going right there.
They don't want to hear those things. It could even be insight. It could be like, oh, that guy you're hanging out with, I'm telling you, it's something up with him. I wouldn't do no business with him. That man may or may not listen to his wife or his girl. He'll say, oh, I'm going to do business. This is OG such and such. And then later on, OG's a snitch. OG was wearing a wire. OG was doing wrong. And she warns you, but you didn't listen. That happened to one of my homeboys. I told them something somebody told me, and then it came to fruition. That person was exactly who they said he was. Wow. He was wearing a wire, and the guy got in trouble. But the point that I'm making is that people don't want to hear things from women,
Sarah?
Yes?
Have you ever been forced to dumb down your intelligence in a relationship in order to make his ass happy, but you unhappy?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that experience.
Yeah, and like an idiot, I did it, but
why did you do it?
Why did I did it because for him that's what I
Don't
thought.
start crying.
No, I'm not. But I thought that would make him feel more manly to think that he was like, but I'm come from a different place.
I like that though. Keep coming. Yes.
Yeah, make him feel more manly because I realize sometimes I can be real aggressive due to my background. So I try sometimes to not be as aggressive because I think, a woman, I'm raised in the South, a woman's supposed to be submissive and everything. But it made me feel terrible because I felt like I was suffocating for his ego. Mm. And at the same time, it totally turned me off because I hate passive men. So
you're listening to the Voice of Reason on VOR Radio. That was Sarah without the H. Ladies and gentlemen, the turn up is real. What is the source of your unhappiness? You think it's your partner? No.
It was me.
Your partner. It's just a reflection.
Yeah.
I know so many deep people that are miserable. They have turned, listen, pull up Satya Baba, Sai Baba of Shirdi, SIABABA of Shirdi. What's that? SHIRDI. Sai Baba of Shirdi. We're on Dash Radio Live right now having a real deep conversation about the source of unhappiness, happiness and unhappiness. And are they related? Are they evil twins? Is happiness a part of... There he is! That's Satya Baba. That's a brother who's a Muslim. Now that man sitting right there is believed to be an incarnation of the Hindu god Vishnu. Now, after he passes, a little while after he passes, another man incarnates and says he is the reincarnation of this man. You know who that man who came after him was? Man's name is Sai Baba, the #1 selling incense in the world. That man in the orange robe with the big afro, All those people who own the House of Blues are his followers. That's why when you go to the House of Blues, there's a picture of him above the stage. Love all, hurt none. Right? Where are you going with this, Zoe? This Sai Baba right here, he just passed. This man put together a whole movement. Now you got other people who done come out and said he was a fraud. But the point I'm making, the man before him was him before he was born. That's the story. Put up that other brother. That brother right there. What is the point I'm making, Zoe, about this Shirdi Baba character? He was a bum! But he had wisdom. They say he had the wisdom of all the cosmos. So he used his godlike avatarship to bang on the people he was supposed to enlighten as a bum.
Wow.
He would knock on their door. He was disrespectful. You feed niggas or what? I know you want blessings. I know you want miracles. Are you feeding niggas or what?
Whoa.
And people fed him because he did provide wisdom, miracles, all types of shit.
Wow.
But he wasn't nice. I'm using this as an example. What's happening in today's microwave society, people expect you to be nice all the time. People expect you not to call them out on any transgression that they may do, on any foolishness that they may do, on any self-deception that they may practice in, and they are now turning the lights that come into your life for that very purpose into abusive relationships. He was just negative. I just didn't like it. He was always calling somebody out on it. Well, maybe that's what, there are no accidents in the universe, right? You want to say there are no accidents in the universe when shit good. But if you keep getting a certain lesson and a certain message, there are no accidents in the universe, right? That man, Shirdi Baba, pissed everybody off. But nobody disrespected him. Did the mic disappear? No, it's right here. I got it. How you doing, microphone?
That's like a sergeant.
But nobody disrespected Shirdi. Sai Baba of Shirdi. You know what Sai Baba, the term, means?
What does it mean?
Sai, S-I-A, Sanskrit for mother. Baba, father, mother, father, balance in the universe. Sai Baba of Shirdi. Shirdi was a place. That's where he was at. The next guy comes along. He becomes Satya. S-A-T-Y-A. Satya Sai Baba. Satya, Sanskrit word for truth. Now, according to this Sai Baba, who's a dubious figure at this point, everybody, even, what's the boy, Christoph, the actor, Christoph that just committed suicide?
Christoph St. John.
Christoph St. John and his people were followers of Sai Baba. This one right here. And he put out a whole documentary saying Sai Baba molested him. Oh, yeah. But then, if you talk to Sai Baba's followers, this Sai Baba, millions of people all over the world. Before the man died, he had a $5-6 billion industry. The incense you buy, that Nag Champa, that's him.
Wow.
You understand? That's the #1 selling incense in the world. Look at that big ass afro. That's a brother. from South India, Andhra Pradesh. His next carnation, he said, well, I'm going to die. And when I come back, I'll be Prima Baba. Sanskrit, Prima, unconditional devotional love to God, Prima Baba. He said on that mission, he said, this mission is teaching truth. Satya Sai Baba will come teach the truth. On the next mission, Prima Baba is going to teach the divinity of man. The next incarnation. Whether all of this is true, whether all of this is correct or not, the point that's being made is you can't be happy without full acceptance of self. And you can, and let me tell you something, your boyfriend is not styrofoam. You cannot mold him to fit your weaknesses. And vice versa, brothers. She's not there to coddle the little boy in your bitch ass. If you have a true woman, a true woman, she gonna make the little scared boy in you wanna grow up. That's what it's for. There's gonna be a party to go, well, goddamn, okay, shit. She here now. Do you understand what I'm trying to convey tonight? The reason why you're not happy is because you're content with being a parrot. Pull up our parrot.
Oh, you got a picture of the parrot?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, let's
We
see
done
the
grew
parrot.
up. There he is.
Oh, there's the parrot. Hi, parrot.
I just want to say deep shit. This is how that works. How many of you are familiar with this phenomenon? Being the one that everybody in your family call for advice.
Yes, I am that.
But your shit be fucked up.
Right.
But because you have the ability to articulate, you seem like a repository of good information, right? And on top of good information, I feel better after talking to you. Mm-hmm. So there's a masturbation, a circle jerk going on. Right. Even though I know you ain't shit, you just speak it right.
Right.
Let me give you an example of somebody who is on the way to happiness. They don't care about what you think about where they are currently. They don't mind sharing it either. How many times have you seen me up here talking about the fuck shit I done did to get this information? Look, there he is. That's how I be looking after I do some fuck shit.
Hilarious.
I'll be on the meerkat side of the game, like. Right? If you read any of my books, the relationship dismount starts out with my life story explaining the shit I went through to ascertain this information. If you're not citing your own problems while you're citing some deep philosopher, you just a parrot. Put that nigga back up there. You Toucan Sam up in this bitch.
Shoot, I thought it was going to be another parrot. You had a lot of parrots on the show.
Oh! And then there's Mimi. Motherfucker talk about I love all brothers, and this is a message out to the brothers. And brothers, you are loved by the queens. But if the queen don't love herself, how can the queen radiate love outward?
Right.
See, it's easy to sound deep. But have you delved deep?
But see,
Go.
But that's significance of black light. Because a black light will always tell you what you can't see with the naked eye. Yeah. It really lets you know where the shit stains and the cum stains.
Ooh, watch out now.
Wow.
Oh, sorry.
What?
Not the shit
What in
stain.
the world?
I hope it ain't no shit stain.
I hope it ain't no shit stain.
So, And that's my girl, Sarah, without the H. I'm here with my girl, Mimi Dukes. You're listening to the Voice of Reason on Voice of Reason Radio right now, and we're having a real conversation about, I would say the superficiality of today's happiness. Are happiness pushers worse than prosperity preachers? I'm telling you, got people out there that are giving you fluff, right, as a means to be happy. Well, just wake up and say, I'm thankful. Well, not if, your water is still brown. Flint, Michigan. Yes, you're waking up every morning, but if you still got lead in the water, and you still have to drink the water, and you still have to cook with water, and Thanksgiving had water and food that was made with tainted water. Do you understand what I'm saying?
When you can't find a solution for things, it's like, shit, I don't want to
Yeah. That's all right. This is a moving show. This is what happens.
Absolutely.
But that's what I'm saying. We're taught to take look, and I'm telling you, prosperity pimps, when I say a prosperity pimp, preachers, God wants you rich. God wants you happy. No, God is in control. Pull up Isaiah. Pull it up on the internet. Isaiah 45:7.
All right now, go on and preach.
When they say God wants you happy, I say read Isaiah 45:7.
45:7.
45:7 in the King James Version of our Lord's work, the Word, which is the life, according to John 1-4. It is the light that shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehendeth not. Do you have it?
Yes, I do.
Please pull it up for our friends who are parents of deepness. Pull it up for the deep parents.
Okay.
I'm going to say things to mask the pain.
Hold on. It's not.
She don't have it.
I have it, but it's not allowing me to pull it up. Hold on just a second.
In the name of Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue. Well, in that case,
It's right here.
Oh, you have it?
Yes, sir. One moment. It's right here. One moment.
Yes, let's see it, because I want to read this verse. This from God. This from God himself. When I hear people say, God wants you happy for somebody else, let alone your damn self. God wants you happy. Well, right here, Isaiah 45:7. Well, that's the Old Testament. So God segregated his own book to further confuse you niggas. Well, we're under the dispensation of grace. According to Paul, who used to be Saul, that tried to kill Jesus on the road to Damascus, that lied in the book of Acts. How you know he lied? Well, he said the story 18 different times. Now, if your kid told you a story 2-3 different ways and shit wasn't consistent, what's going to come out your mouth, Sarah?
You lying.
Don't you lie to me, boy.
You better not.
On the road to Damascus, you got sight mixed up with hearing, and hearing mixed up with sight, Paul. Paul, the guy who wrote most of the New Testament. Paul, whose words actually contradict that of Christ. We are in the dispensation of grace according to the New Testament. Well, God, is that Yahuwah? Yahuwah? Is that Yahweh talking? Because 45:7 says, I form the light, I create darkness, I make peace, and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. So is the Lord creating your unhappiness, your dissatisfaction? Is the Lord creating? Because you'll see, this is that bullshit. This that Sundays with Oprah. We already know Oprah's on some fuck shit. See, this that. Hey, won't he do it when it's good? When it's good, it's won't he do it. When it's bad, the devil is busy. But we just saw the verse that said God is in control of everything that is considered negative, that is considered positive, that is considered good, that is considered evil. And if God is teaching through circumstance, teaching through challenge, teaching through disappointment, teaching through hurt, who are you to say that the God you gave life to via your belief is wrong? I don't know if y'all heard the depth in that.
Oh, I heard it. I heard it. You on it.
You got people out here pushing fluffy narratives just so you can get from a difficult moment to the next situation. But you don't understand. Every relationship is a situationship for the purpose of growing up your spirit. Not for the purpose of just growing up your wallet or growing your belly or growing your family. The ultimate purpose of relationship is to grow your spirit. Now, does your spirit actually get bigger? No, you just become aware of the multiple dimensions of who you really are through these experiences. You want to be happy, accept the journey, accept the process. Krishnamurti, pleasure, which we pursue, is mistakenly called happiness. But can you pursue happiness as you pursue pleasure? Surely we must be very clear as to whether pleasure is happiness. Pleasure is gratification, satisfaction, indulgence, entertainment, stimulation. Most of us think pleasure is happiness, and the greatest pleasure we consider to be the greatest happiness. And happiness is the opposite of unhappiness. Are you trying to be happy because you are unhappy and dissatisfied? Has happiness got an opposite at all? Has happiness got an opposite at all? See, some people, pull that back up, that Isaiah verse. Some people would have you think that the devil is God's opposite. No, the devil is on God's payroll. It says it right here. Look it up in Hebrew. Get the George M. Lamsa version of the Bible. Look it up in Hebrew. It says it right there. I formed the light. I'm not talking to you, baby. I'm talking to them.
Oh, okay.
Get the old ancient Aramic version. Isaiah is damn near the only intact portion of the book they got. Get it. George M. Lamsa. I formed the light. Nur, nar. Right? I formed the light. In Arabic, nur, la, nar. I create darkness. I make peace. And I create evil. Now, these motherfuckers who don't want to deal with the truth will go in there and retranslate that word evil, which English evil is the Hebrew representative. They'll go in there and flip it and say, no, I create calamity. All right, fuck it. Create calamity then. But you do it. God don't do nothing without a purpose, right? Mm-hmm. So if God is creating evil and calamity in your life via relationships, you're running from it because what? Let me give you a perfect example. Mimi has every right, and I don't want to put your stuff out, but Mimi has every right to run from a certain person in her life. Okay? I'm tired of motherfuckers doing superficial shit. Don't go through a superficial experience and turn it into, you know that old saying, don't turn a molehill into a mountain.
Absolutely.
But you got some people who have turned molehills into mountains. We got information from scholars that basically say there are different tiers of domestic violence, right? And most of the tiers of domestic violence can be fixed with counseling and therapy. But because we live in a Me Too culture, because we live in a post-OJ culture, they've created even those situations to where those situations could have been fixed and handled by going to couples therapy as well as individual therapy, and then the relationship is good. Now, we have, I don't know why the brother calling me right now. He got to know I'm live. Anyway, we have people, right, who have already done the research. I always talk about this guy at UCLA, Benjamin Carney. He did his research on 50 couples who were engaged but not married. They all went through some level of domestic violence.
Okay.
25 of them went on to get married. So his research and following those couples basically said violence is not a determining factor of whether a relationship works or fails. Mm-hmm. Because if you have the proper tools, you can get past it. But it depends on what level of domestic violence it is. Domestic violence is broken down into 3 tiers currently. CCV, common couple violence. It means it's common. It means I had a bad day, you came at me wrong, I grabbed you by your foot and dragged you off the bed and choked you for a few minutes. Maybe 30 seconds. That's not the far end. The far end is intimate terrorism. Do you understand? That can't be fixed with therapy. Intimate terrorism is you open your trunk, I'm in there with a gun. Get your ass. Come here.
Right. Right.
That's intimate terrorism.
Yep. That's that.
Do you understand? See, again, ego is so strong in a lot of our people. We got sisters who don't mind turning common couple violence or IPV, intimate partner violence, into intimate terrorism to prove a point.
Right.
Do you see how lessons are lost in all that? See, because if you're coming from a spiritual place, you go, well, why did I attract this type of person? Why do I have this type of interaction? What in me can I lay claim to? See how we get into accountability? What in me can I lay claim to? Right? In the co-creation of this negative experience. That's the spiritual path. But the egoic and the selfish path will say, okay, well, this bullshit, I'm going to get his ass. I'm going to show him. Right? Well, that's proof to me that you was never down with him in the first place. Now, what am I saying? Am I saying justifying violence? Men towards women? No. In no way, shape, or form am I saying that. But what I'm saying is, we have such a superficial society who are in pursuit of external happiness and stimulation and entertainment and all the other shit Krishnamurti mentioned, that the opportunity to say, is there meaning in that experience? Can I pull the meaning out? Like I said, meaning is in a position to be justified to say, I don't ever have to speak ever again.
Period.
But she still does. For the sake of something grander, that's a different type of woman.
Right.
Okay.
True.
Mimi, can you talk to them a little bit about it if you wish?
Okay. Well, what he's speaking about is, of course, I was in I was at the domestic terrorism state of it all. And it was very horrendous. But right now, currently, I feel like my daughter, even though she's older in age, I can tell that there's a void with her not having her father around at all. And then everything that I went through and just the whole scenario. So I reached out to him. I didn't reach out to him for me. I reached out to him for her. because I saw the pain in her eye. And as a mother, I said, you know what, I want to see my daughter okay. So I reached out to him, and it was very interesting, not to make this a long, drawn-out story, which I could, but it was very interesting, the way he spoke to me. He was more or less, well, she's not happy because she wants us together. And I'm like, well, how could she want us together when you were like Freddy Krueger and you're not even around the last 15, 16 years, you're not even active in her life? But I had this conversation with him in order to ask him to reach out to her, because I felt like she was going down a dark alley in the sense of wanting her dad and not knowing, like, he has 8 other kids. He doesn't see half of them, but what's wrong with me? And that's what a kid says when they don't have their father around and they know the father's alive and well. They know who he is. They see pictures, and yet he's not around. So I took the higher road, and I'm glad I did. If I have to call again, I will. He called one time. He called her. It didn't go very well, but he hasn't reached back out since. But I'm just sharing my story to say sometimes as a parent, we can't look at how we feel. Sometimes you have to do it for the kid, because your kid, you don't want them to have a mental capacity of depression and they don't feel loved, because all of those are bad patterns. And if they're not strong enough, they can fall into a warp. And I was really concerned about my daughter falling in this warp. And that's why I reached out to him.
That's some grown-up shit. Do you know how many elderly children are still running around planet Earth right now?
Right.
Midlife crisis children. You old, but your spirit young, because you still cling to things that don't, listen to this, you cling to things that don't make you feel good.
Right, right.
And I've said this before, spirit is very subtle. Some things are exceedingly good for you, yet feel very uncomfortable.
Right.
Some things are exceedingly bad for you, yet feel extraordinarily good.
Come on now. Preach.
Do you see? It's a lot of people out there that can't distinguish between the two.
True.
You attract somebody into your life that vibrates at a certain level. Where's my consciousness grid? Because we want to make that same point, right? We want to make that point. There's our consciousness grid. This consciousness grid was produced by Dr. David R. Hawkins. In his book, Power versus Force, or one of those in that series, I forgot which one, he said, if the devil of the Bible comes to you giving you information, and of course this is a metaphor, an analogy, he said giving you information that's vibrating at 500 or higher, you accept it. What, Sarah, can you see that line? What does 500 say on that line?
Love, benign, reverence, loving, revelation. I think that's what it said. Yeah.
That's the vibration of love. Oh. Do you know how many people can't take that from a baby daddy? Mm-mm. If a baby daddy came to you with that level of consciousness, yes, say he didn't start off there. Say you ain't talked to him in years and he grew to that level. Do you know how many motherfuckers would not accept the truth of what he's saying because of who it's coming from? I'm talking about adult children who maintain the walls of their unhappiness. In the relationship dismount, how to stick the landing when exiting a toxic relationship, I made a distinction between the consciousness level of blame versus the consciousness level of claiming. Do you know how many motherfuckers I've been with who sound just like me? I just got to keep 100. sound just like me.
Oh, there it is. Where's the other pictures? No.
And yeah, I haven't been the best person to everybody that I've been with, but I am a firm believer that this universe, right, is both linear and nonlinear at the same time, is both predestined and also not predestined at the same time. In other words, you could be born into a pattern and then succumb or submit to the pattern that you were born in. They'll say, oh, that boy is a statistic. That's because he submitted to the pattern. But there is a higher level of consciousness that says, I'm bigger than the pattern.
True.
And I have control over this pattern because I have control over me. If you don't have control over yourself, you tend to fall into the pattern.
I agree.
If you don't have knowledge of self, if you don't have self-acceptance, you tend to become a stat. You fall into the pattern.
True.
But the moment you discover the true power within yourself, the moment you discover the truth that is you, do you know you start to sound different than the people you admire?
True.
Take out admire and put in envy. Do you know you start to sound different than the people you envy? Because you tend to sound like the people you envy and admire. I don't know if anybody is listening.
I'm listening.
YouTube, Dash Radio, VOR Radio, y'all listening? Because it's real knowledge being laid down here this evening.
On today.
On today.
On today.
You understand? Which is more important to understand? Unhappiness or the pursuit of happiness? Why do I pursue it? If I'm pursuing it, by definition, does that say I'm not happy?
No, it's different levels of it.
Talk to me.
It's different levels of happiness, and everything, it has different realms and dimensions. It's not just the happy point. Like, even if you come to LA, you made it to LA, but there's many different sections of LA.
Yes, keep coming.
You know?
Yes, say more.
That's all I got.
She's sick today. Go ahead, Mimi. Finish wherever she was trying to.
Well, I believe, she's saying different sections of LA. There's different places that happiness is found. Some people may want to live in Hollywood Hills. Somebody else's happiness is on the beach, and someone else's happiness is on the high rise, and someone wants a mansion, and they feel that's their level of happiness. But until you find happiness from within, it doesn't matter what city you're in, where you're at, what you got on, you'll never be truly happy because you're looking for things and places to make you smile, when the smile should already be there. And these things just enlighten and just make you feel just that much more better, but you should already be happy with yourself.
That's what I was gonna say.
No, it's not. What Mimi said.
That's what it is.
Deeply, our life is a confusion, a mess, a misery, an agony. The more sensitive we are, the more despair, the more anxiety, the more guilt feeling. And naturally, we want to escape from it because we haven't found an answer. How many people feel like, God damn, just tell me what it is? And sometimes you ask your partner, sometimes you ask God, but you just want to know what's going on. And when you don't get that answer, the frustration begins to build, right? True. Why am I going through this? Or how many people get hella Christian because they're looking for a particular outcome and then get hella unreligious, hella unchristian when they don't receive the outcome that they was looking for?
True.
How many people doubt God because you said, or somebody teaching a prosperity gospel told you that if you do this and you sprinkle this water and you sleep with this cloth under your pillow, something beautiful is going to happen. And then when it don't happen, you start doubting God. Right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell y'all the pursuit is the problem. The pursuit outward is the problem. Let's go, let's read more. The feeling of guilt and anxiety. We want to escape from it because we haven't found an answer. We don't know how to get out of this confusion. We want to go to some other realm, to some other dimension, as Sarah was trying to talk about. We escape through music, through art, through literature. Listen to the escapes. We escape through music, through art, through literature, but it's just an escape. It has no reality in comparison with what we are seeking. All escapes are similar, whether through the door of a church, through God or a savior, through the door of a drink or various drugs. We must not only understand what and why we are seeking, but we must also understand this demand for a deep, abiding experience. Because it is only the mind that does not seek at all. Listen to me. When you're happy, you ain't got to look for it. You don't have to demand it. When you're content with the meaning that is you, the definition that says, this is the only Zoe that has ever existed. Right now, when you're happy with that, so many people are in search of that it's easier to parrot. Right? Right? It's easy to say, well, I heard something deep that resonated.
Right.
But maybe it resonated to say, maybe that resonation is a knock on the door. You're not supposed to be content with the knock on the door. You're supposed to open the door. Who knocked on the door? And for what purpose?
Right.
And that's when the conversation with self begins. I just want y'all to know this, man. Like, I do these shows because it's important that we understand what the interactions with the different types of people we come in contact is for. I heard one lady say about Krishnamurti, she said, he will give you the tools to grow you up. And I disagree with that. Mm-hmm. Because can't nobody give you the tools to grow yourself up. He will shine a light on the tools that already exist within you. Mm-hmm. He never wanted to be called a guru. He shunned it. Don't call me no goddamn guru. I don't want no motherfucking followers. Mm-hmm. A lot of how I get down, I don't want no goddamn followers.
Right.
I don't.
No parrots either.
I don't want no fucking parrots. I want people around me that have original thought or are at least in pursuit of it.
Right.
If I see any inflexibility in you, I see childishness.
Right.
If I see any bottom line ultimatum styled statements, I see childishness.
True.
Because life is about a flow, ebb and flow. Life is about parity. Life is about ambiguity. Right? I see children when I see these things. Nobody can be the ultimate reason for why you happy or unhappy.
True.
I don't know. Does that make sense to you, Sarah?
Yeah.
Well, ask yourself a question. What are the top 5 things you do that make you unhappy?
They make me unhappy?
Yes. Top 5 things that you do in intimate relationships that causes you to be unhappy.
I doubt myself.
Come on.
I am constantly overthinking everything.
Keep going.
I believe that I have the ability to know exactly what they're thinking, and it's always negative.
Look at that.
Let's see, what else? I often sabotage myself because I've never had somebody really to be like in love with me. I think that I'm incapable of someone loving me. So I try to test the waters really fast, and I get rid of relationships even faster because I don't want to get hurt. So I just cut it off. But in my mind, the relationship is still keep playing on. And so, yeah. And I often, I'm sorry.
Keep going. No. No, you got more. Keep going.
And I make myself available too much to people that are unavailable to me emotionally.
You're too available.
Yeah. I'm out here open and closed at the same time.
Ooh, hallelujah. Mimi, your top 5.
I'm always overthinking everything, and then I'm always thinking about the previous relationship. If they do things that are similar, I'm always putting too much on it. You know what I mean? I'm letting that run my thoughts, and that person may be totally different. I also feel as if, because I've been in the type of relationship that I was in the past and things like that, I think that there's, it could be doubt. Even if they say, oh, I was over here, I love you so much, I might be thinking, wonder who else he's loving. I mean, and that's very negative to even be thinking like that. But I think because of past relationships, past hurts, I kind of put too much thinking on everything. And I think that's really a big downfall of mine.
Too, girl.
You know?
I love it. The ladies are coming with it. People in the chat room. And listen, my listeners on Dash Radio, please understand a little something that's going on right now. We are also broadcasting live through my YouTube channel on YouTube. It's called TheZoWhatShow. If you want to see me and Sarah and myself, we broadcasting live. We got people, hundreds of people in the chat room right now. Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the share button. Let me address something, because people are coming here saying, oh, is Corey Holcomb on this show? He's not on this show right now. Where we're broadcasting, I have to go in later and change the topic, because the topic from last week will pop up as the topic that's broadcasting right now. Yes, I'm on Dash Radio Live right now. Go to VOR Radio. I'm on Dash Radio right now on my own channel, Voice of Reason Radio. We're talking about people who take advantage, who push these happiness hustles. Well, if you got money, you're happy. Right? If you got a business, you build a business together, you're happy. Did y'all hear that Lemonade album? And that 444 album? Sound like two really wealthy motherfuckers who went through hell and high water, but yet found a way to stay together after going through hell and high water. Right. It's the hell and high water and the ability to be resolute in that. The ability to find your way on or find yourself on the opposite shore of where that troubled water began. That's the mark or the hallmark of a relationship that has the potential to discover happiness. But it's a lot of people, man, who don't really want happiness. I told you they want attention. They want stimulation. They don't want to be with somebody that's going to force them to look at themselves. I already told you at the beginning of the show or during the middle of the show, you got some people who will take the guru. Because God gives you gurus. And not all gurus are male. God gives you gurus in relationships. Why? Because both of you guys are there to dispel light. If you look at dispel darkness. If you look at the word guru from the Sanskrit, it means dispeller of darkness. So the guru that comes into your life might be a fuck boy, but he's there to shine light on your inability to stand on the standards you say you have for yourself. He's a guru of fuckboyism. He's there to show you. How many women will ignore that lesson and attract the fuckboy over and over and over again?
Oh, yeah.
Now, please understand. Go ahead, Mimi.
I was just going to say every lesson is so important. My daughter ran across a young lady that she knows that I don't know her very well. The lady was a prophet. And the lady told my daughter, she says, your mom, nobody really raised her. So my daughter said, yeah, that's what she always says, that she was basically from place to place. And the lady said that it was meant to be like that because it helped build character and made me into the person that I am today.
Right.
So a lot of times our struggle, what we go through, bad relationships, good relationships, they're all good because it helped build you up in one way or another. Even that relationship I went through helped build me up with character. So I was just wanting to say that everything we go through prepares us for where we're going,
It's
who we are.
preparation.
It's preparation.
Come
And
on.
sometimes it doesn't feel good. So it's not that the God is putting a lot on you or this and that. It's that he's trying to prepare you for your purpose.
Look at that.
And
Listen to it. Happiness hustlers in religion, conscious community, shit, even the LGBT community. We just sell cliches and mantras. Put up that goddamn, that parrot. There's a lot of niggas eating Fruit Loops.
oh my goodness.
Two cans say it.
Toucan Ceasy.
There is a quote out there, and I've seen it. Because let me tell you the type of person I am. This is real life. This is who I've become. And I've become this person after 2011. I used to get myself upset because I thought I had the power through my intellect to change how other people saw or understood, right? But after 2011, I changed all of that. Now, there's a quote, and I saw it on about 3 or 4 different social media posts. And a lot of women are posting this. But it has something to do with if he's interested in you, like you're not going to have to, he's going to let you know that he's interested, or he's going to, he's going to show it. It's something like that.
Right.
Oh, it's okay.
Did you find it?
It's one. It says if he misses you, he'll call. If he wants you, he'll say it. If he cares, he'll show it. And if not, he can't be worth your time because you're obviously not worth his.
These are the words of relationship attention addicts. This is not how happy people. See, when I'm happy, I'm fulfilled within. There's fulfillment, there's contentment, there's appreciation, there's joy. And that stuff comes from inside, right? It doesn't come. Now, another person can enhance it or can intensify it, but it's supposed to be like a fucking spiritual nuclear reactor within yourself that continues to churn, right? The sun is a nuclear reactor. It's a fission reactor. Billions of years of self-sustaining. That's how happiness is supposed to operate within your spirit. This ain't no 99-cent Duracell battery you get from the corner pharmacy store with the expiration date be like 90 days, 3 months of power. Your spirit is God energized. But because you haven't made contact with it, you hold these exorbitant standards. It's easy to parrot Iyanla Vanzant. She says some profound shit, and it does resonate in spirit. But what are you doing to develop it with it? What are you doing to develop another perspective as profound as hers, but in your voice?
Your story.
You know how many motherfuckers ain't doing that?
A lot.
But will wrap their motherfucking hair up.
You know what?
Wait a second. That wrap my hair up.
Go get some African waist beads that's supposed to be consecrated in lekes. I'm not really trying to bang on y'all. I'm not. It's easy to look the part. But can you walk the part on your own? You know how many people are jealous of the few happy people there are?
Oh yeah. If you just look happy, they mad.
Well, can you tell us the difference between that and joy?
Again.
No.
Pull up that consciousness chart.
Okay. What's the chart coming up?
I love that consciousness chart. Now, when you start getting into superhuman powers, according to this white man who stole all of this ancient science, you know he didn't get this information. Come on now. This white man stole all this ancient science from your black ass.
Right.
It's a wonderful book. It was Quincy Jones who told me to get the book. Shit, man, have you ever read Power versus Farce? No, Quincy, no, man, you got to get it. And when he was telling us about the book, it's me and Kool Mo D sitting there. He telling us to get Power versus Force. The goddamn doors we're in his living room. It's shaped like an African hut. The doors of the living room just blew open. Power versus Force. Doors open, blew open.
Wow.
He said, shit, man, that's God, you know. There are no accidents. You got to get that book. There's a reason, you know, that happened.
Wow.
So I immediately, after that talk with Q, I go get the book. I read the book. Shit profound. So at 500, because we're talking about, when we broke this down in another show, this man calculated the consciousness levels of the 7 billion people on planet Earth. And he said, at the current state that we are consciously, he said most people are vibrating in the orange.
Wow.
At 100. And 100 equals fear, frightening, anxiety, punitive. I've seen women say, you know what? I love you, brother, but I'm going to have to go fuck this nigga to have a place to stay. So can you wait on me?
Wow.
That's fear.
Strategy. She probably thought it was strategy.
But that's fear.
It is.
But most strategy is born out of fear.
Yeah.
Right.
I love you, brother. You were sent by God. But I got to go live with this dude. And I'm going to be fucking him while I'm there.
Right. Unless I can move in with you.
Most people are at a level of fear.
Right.
They're at a fear consciousness. And that's at 100.
Huh.
Yeah.
So what this man broke down, the brother said, there are 12 ascended masters. Now, when he said ascended masters, I said, okay, this brother might be a theosophist, Madame Blavatsky and all of them. He said there are 12 ascended masters that exist in different parts of the world that are vibrating at 700 on his chart, 700 or higher. He said, it is those 12 people that have counterbalanced the 7 billion people on planet Earth and raised our overall consciousness grid number
Wow.
to 200. From 100 to 200.
Oh my goodness.
How many motherfuckers you know operating at the consciousness level of pride? How many people you know operating at the conscious level of anger? How many people you know operating at the consciousness level of desire? I gotta speak my truth is desire.
Right.
I must speak my truth, it's desire. Listen, when you're content with self, you don't have to be a megaphone.
Right.
How many people you know that are really out there speaking their truth because they want to be heard and accepted? That's the vibration of desire. This is why many preachers can't break up with the pulpit.
The pulpit.
Pulpit.
Oh, shoot.
Am I lying? How many people you know vibrating at fear? How many people you know vibrating at grief, apathy, guilt?
Lot.
How you gonna put on a mask that says, I love all brothers and I appreciate the brothers and the brothers, yeah, this is for the brothers. But you still haven't dealt with the guilt that came from how your mama did you.
Right. That's crazy.
You can't never love the brothers until you unravel the guilt, until you unravel the shame, the grief, the fear. All these things have to be unraveled if you want to magnetize something as powerful as 500. Now look, this is white man now. Let me tell you something. I know where white wisdom comes from. Pull up that book cover. Can you find it? By Richard Poe. Black Spark, White Fire. I know where white wisdom comes from. Now you're going to have some people say, oh, wisdom is wisdom. There have been wise people in all races from all over the world. But you know good and goddamn well, black people set up universities, colleges, repository, Timbuktu, Alexandria, before it was named Alexandria, before it was named Heliopolis. This white man wrote this book, Black Spark, White Fire. Did African explorers civilize ancient Europe? Richard Poe, that's a white man. Baghdad was black when it was the center of intelligentsia for the world. Egypt was black when it was the center of intelligentsia for the world. Do you understand? I know this should be like, we go all into history and all of these things, but I'm just saying, if you're not the author of your story and you're trying to live up to the expectations of somebody else, you're never going to be happy. And if you can never be happy internally, how in the entire fuck are you going to magnetize an entirely happy person?
True.
You're going to magnetize the level of misery that you're at.
Absolutely.
This is why they say misery loves company. Black people who don't appreciate who and what they are and where they're from and have a base of self-knowledge, they're going to always be pursuing the standard that was created by the oppressor.
Mm-hmm.
Your standard of love comes from them.
Right.
Your standard of happiness comes from them. Your definition of a relationship, a healthy relationship, comes from them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get some of the things this society says you're supposed to have in your relationship and see don't that motherfucker break down.
All right now. Pass the offering tray.
Do you know we ain't never went to Disneyland? Fuck Disney!
Right.
I've never been.
Listen, do you know how many motherfuckers are being shamed and guilted right now, December 16th, 2019, because they ain't got no money for no Christmas gifts?
Oh, yeah.
True.
Yep.
Straight shamed. You ain't, listen, the rest of the world knows that America commercializes and commoditizes its holidays. You mean to tell me the definition of manhood is also being integrated into the consumerism machine of capitalism, you not a man.
Right. Where my gifts, huh?
You not a man because you're not participating in Christmas.
Right.
Now listen, when my kids were younger, I struggled with the Christmas shit. I had poquito money, and they got some gifts, but I struggled with it because I was like, no, I cannot be told when to give you something.
Right.
I'm gonna give you some shit because I want to give it to you, and I'm gonna give. Do you see what I'm saying? Fortunately for me, I was never. Their mother never was like, "You not a man,"
Right.
because you don't want to participate in this Christmas shit. And besides, these niggas got birthdays 2 weeks in front of Christmas. I said, "Listen now,
Right.
you niggas don't have to make a motherfucking choice.
Christmas or his birthday.
Christmas or birthday, nigga."
Yeah, choices.
Shit. But again, where is your happiness coming from? Is it coming from climbing the ladder in society? Achieving what society says you're supposed to achieve? Or is it coming just from you? Sarah and then Mimi. Name 3 things about your personality that you are exceedingly overjoyed about.
My love, my ability to love everybody. Like, I really honestly get upset though when I don't understand why people don't like me, because I feel like I have so much love for everybody in my heart.
She is a sweetheart. I can't even front.
I also, in my personality, I love the fact that that I make people smile. I think it's not the fact that I think I'm like the funniest person, but I like for people to enjoy being around me, you know? I like making others feel welcome. That's a part of I guess it's a little bit of the first one, I guess. Okay, yeah, okay. And I love the fact that I am open and willing to try new things. You know, I like that about myself. I'm adventurous, you know. I love to get into other people's world and see how they work and really enjoy all of God's creation. I love people.
You love it.
I love people.
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, yeah. That's what I've heard.
Oh my God.
Mimi? 3.
Oh, I love my integrity.
Yeah.
Mimi don't want to get played.
Yeah.
You're not gonna play Mimi.
No.
Play me cuz.
Why you putting her set out there? Mimi, how you know Mimi out here banging?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't
She
even
not-
know what she's talking about. So look.
Oh, sorry.
So I love that people love and respect me. I love the love that I give. I can get along with any race, any person, any creed. They respect me and I respect them from the hood to Hollywood. And I love that. You feel me? And the final thing that I think that I really love is that I have a heart to help and to give. And I'm a giver. You know what I'm saying? And I can truly say when I give to someone, it comes from the heart. I'm not looking for anything in exchange for it. It's just what I did.
And listen, everybody that's in my chat room right now, name 3 things that you absolutely enjoy about yourself. Tell me right now, what brings you happiness? 3 things, 3 character traits that brings you ultimate happiness about yourself. If you say them, if you write them, I will say them. Human Being wrote mental strength.
All right, I like that.
That's a good one. Mental strength.
I like that.
That mental fortitude, all of that is good shit.
Heck yeah.
Y'all see me up here with it? Who else got one?
I didn't know my own strength.
Oh,
No.
somebody said common sense.
Oh, yes, I love
that's
that.
good.
That's real right there.
Somebody said trusting myself, making people smile. I have a God spirit. I have understanding. Okay.
Yeah, I love that.
Diplomatic and instigator. He loves that about himself.
No.
Gift of help. Yeah, calmness within, trustworthiness. I like the fact that I know how to curse white people out without using a profane word.
Oh, I love that.
That's a gift.
Heck yeah, I love
can
that.
Can I say something about Mimi? Mimi loyal though.
Mimi loyal.
You're super
She
loyal.
loyal to the soil. She
Yeah.
down like 4 flat tires.
Yeah, I'm
boy.
down. When I'm down with you, that's what it is.
18 wheels.
Exactly. That's
I like
right.
that sense of humor.
What about you, Zoe?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh man, there's several. Do you want me to make the whole show about me? Or do
You know
want me-
what?
There's a lot of shit I like about myself, but also
Top 3.
there's a lot of other things that I
Okay.
don't like.
Yeah.
Somebody said testicular fortitude, ability to meditate. That's a hard thing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Somebody said they love their humility. Somebody said they love their authenticity. Somebody said my smile, love for others, and ability to see BS.
I
That's
love
a
that.
good one.
I love that.
Somebody said they found mental peace. Somebody said perseverance. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Somebody said being black, strong coping skills, able to see through BS.
Love it.
Always tell the truth no matter what. I'm an explorer. I love solitude. I'm unafraid of being me. Look at that. You can't understand knowledge without common sense.
That's
I
right.
love it, man. Somebody said I can cook a good burger.
Right.
I can too.
Oh, I can cook,
Yeah.
period. I love that. I
No,
can
Mimi
cook.
can cook.
It turns me on that I can cook. I'd be happy.
Somebody
I can
said
warm
they're
stuff
expert at sarcasm.
I'm a mean microwaver.
You know what?
Here's a great one. Here's a great one. Somebody said accepting my dark side.
That's a big one right there.
Come on, man. Come on. Listen. As is commonplace, man, this is my get down. Okay? I don't have all the answers. I never do. A lot of times these conversations are wide ranging and expansive, and they go into a lot of different worlds, a lot of different areas. But listen, the reality of this is starting a conversation so that we can continue it. I want it to continue all over the world, all over the country. You know, there are people who listen to this show all over the world. And I want people, man, to continue this conversation in your neighborhood, in your relationships, in your household. Shit. If y'all can't talk to each other and tell the truth of who you are, then you don't really have a relationship.
That's true.
You're relating with masks and mirrors. You're not really relating with who the person actually really is. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I appreciate Sarah for doing the show. I appreciate Mimi for coming down and doing the show. Thank you so much for listening to the Voice of Reason on VOR Radio. I'm Zoe Williams. Deuces.
Deuces.